More than 200 children in Buffalo are diagnosed every year with lead poisoning. The Partnership for the Public Good recently put people on notice that the city of Buffalo may be failing to inspect rental properties fast enough to protect children. We invited Dr. Donald Picard, chairman of Catholic Health's Department of Pediatrics, to join us here on the 5:30 to explain the risk of that lead actually poses. We want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Claudine.
The Erie County Health Department says anyone living in a house or an apartment built before 1978 should assume that lead paint is present and the dust from that lead poses a threat. How often should parents have their children actually screened for lead?
It's for most kids, I think it's really important that they get screened for the first time when they're around 9 months to 1 year of age, and then again at 2 years of age. If there's any lead in the home or those tests were positive, then they may require more frequent screening.
What are the symptoms of lead poisoning, and can you tell us about the short-term and the long-term effects on children?
Well, that's why the screening is so important, Claudine. Most children don't experience any symptoms from being exposed to lead, and even small levels of lead can cause trouble for children. Generally speaking, it's children under the age of 6, and certainly children under the age of 3 who are most vulnerable from the toxic effects of lead. There can be other symptoms, particularly if there's larger amounts of lead found in the child. So we can see some abdominal disturbances and then also some neurologic symptoms. And ultimately, with high levels of lead, there can be something called encephalopathy and seizures.
You know, I know in the past we've heard a lot of parents talk about it may have contributed to learning disabilities. Is that true?
That is true. That's the most concerning thing. And again, those won't be noticeable as symptoms, but it is our principal concern as it pertains to lead. The cognitive deficiencies can be lifelong, and there can be behavioral disturbances as well that are also lifelong. So the most important thing is to know as soon as possible, early in a child's development, so that mitigating that toxic effect by either getting those kids out of that environment or abating the lead from that environment can be performed. In some cases, we do have to remove the lead from the child through a process called chelation. So that's why the screening of children at their regular health visits is the most important thing to preventing the toxic effects of lead.
And once again, any advice you can give parents right now, especially with the housing stock so old in the city of Buffalo? What do you tell them if there is lead or that lead dust in their home?
It is. So my advice to parents would be to assume, particularly, I mean, we have a lot of lead poisoning in Buffalo because we have a lot of old homes. And I think there's an understanding for a lot of folks that this has to do with paint chips, but it's really the dust that's the problem. And once a child starts crawling around, they can get that dust on their hands, and then they all put their hands in their mouth all the time. So getting that screening is important. Also, wet mopping your home and dusting with a damp rag can be helpful. And I would suggest that all parents, if they can, go to the Erie County Department of Health website regarding lead poisoning. There's a lot of great support on that website as far as what to do if your child has lead, and work with your local or your pediatrician as far as getting connected to some of these services that Erie County provides as far as lead abatement and then also treatment of a child who has been exposed.
Dr. Picard, thank you so much for joining us on the 5:30 today. We appreciate your insight.